Hey everyone, my God, I'm trying to get this camera set up in this room. I just set my computer table and computer up. I haven't got a chair yet, but I just put it off because I've been dealing with a lot of other stuff. So I have lots of things going on. What I want to do is I'm going to go into just really fast how my new job is going and how my new house is going. It's just a dream come true. Everything is going so great. I've got a big vacation planned for next year, and I will go into that at the end. It's more, can this guy stop texting? Jesus Christ. Stop. So anyway, what did I want to go into? Okay, so one of the people, I think last time I did a little update for you guys, I was talking to the gentleman with the tattoos, I think I was saying. So I ended up hanging out with him a couple of times, and there was this intense chemistry, him and I, just about art, and he's a phenomenal artist, and he's very in depth. And then, and this is where my topic comes into play for this video, and it's polyamory, open relationships, and how trans women factor into this. So this guy, I spent a bit of time with him, and at his work, he owns a bar here in Memphis, Tennessee. And so I went and spent some time with him, and it went really well. And then the next time I kind of came up to his work, because he sent me his schedule, and it was on a slower night. So I went up there and, dressed up, bought a new outfit. Like, it was quite clear message, because the guy didn't ask me out on the first time. He didn't ask me to dinner. So I was like, you know what, I need to send this message home. So I was, I sent the message across. So anyway, while I was there, he starts, communicating with someone while texting, and I was just at his work. He's a bartender. And so then he tells Megan to meet his dog, and, his dog's coming up there. And so anyway, in comes this 125-pound American Bulldog, which is an awesome dog. But there's a girl with the dog, and I'm looking at her, and I'm trying to figure out this dynamic with him and her. And she's 23. And he's 50. And I thought it was a little weird that I was 34 and he was 50 as far as that's concerned. And so it was one of those things where I was like, ooh. And then anyway, so I didn't know who she was. I didn't know if she was his daughter or what it could be. And so I was trying to lay it all out. Anyway, so I met her, and then she leaves, and I decided after 10 minutes, I was like, it's just awkward. And he wants to paint me, he wants to put me in his collection and all this, which is awesome. But it was just weird. It was this weird dynamic. So I just left, and I was confused. Anyway, I ended up finding out later that was his girlfriend, who's in a polyamorous relationship with him, and she's got a girlfriend of her own, but she's with him, and they all have partners of their own, and they all do their thing. So I wanted to go into this subject specifically with transgender women. So after a minute, he was very confused as to why I wasn't, he asked me if I was interested, if it was the thing I would be down with. And I told him, I was like, no. And of course, at first I was very defensive, because I have a little bit of a bitterness towards polyamory and open relationships. And I know a lot of trans people are into it, and I don't want to offend anyone with a lot of my statements. But I did a lot of research, because my previous relationship, my ex-boyfriend, thought it may have been a solution for us being long distance and being lonely. And of course, I got very defensive when that happened, So the thing is that there's so much of this polyamory going around, and it's discussed as well, people have needs that the person you're with can't satisfy. So that's the foundation of it. And then the foundation is also that there's enough love to go around, sort of thing, And sorry, that's my little bunny rabbit. He's actually scratching in the corner of his little house. So that's that noise. Anywho, hopefully he'll chill. So I turned him down flat, and so on and so forth. But I told him the reason I was interested in him, and I mentioned before, he has extreme tattoos. His whole face is done with a giant snake and stuff, and very intense. And everybody I spoke to was quite shocked that, that he had all this stuff done. But really, I didn't even notice the tattoos. The tattoos were just a side, I just thought it was a part of his character. And so, hey, can you just chill out, please? Thank you. Anyway, so I saw right through the tattoos, and he just ignores me. He's just as stubborn as my dog, I swear. So I just saw a man that, and he's been through a lot. His artwork is very gruesome. He's been homeless, and so yeah. And I told him, I was like, look, because he couldn't believe I was conservative on dating and being monogamous. He said, because in every area of my life, I'm very progressive and into some things that are different. And I had to explain to him that it wasn't just, it wasn't about me being conservative. So a few days later, we started speaking, and then he continued to flirt, and I told him straight up, I was like, the reason why I'm not into polyamory is specifically because, sorry, I have clients that I gotta book all the time, so I always have to look. Oh, I will also talk about someone else that I'm talking to new, and it's quite exciting. She's talking to a girl here, and about to have my first date with her, so we'll see. Not today, but it's gonna happen soon. Anywho, so I explained to this guy that the reason why I thought I was interested in him is because obviously this man's gone through a lot. He was homeless for 5 years. He's very extreme with his artwork, so his perception is very deep. And I thought that he would have seen something that most people didn't see. And the reason I am not into polyamory personally is because for 15 years of my life that I've transitioned, for 15 years, I've always been the girl on the side. Because that's what trans women are to people, at least men for the most part, you know. We are a fetish. We are a thing that they get on the side. And I know there's a lot of people out there, and I used to say the same thing, that not all men see trans women as a fetish. It's a preference thing. And sure, that's a nice thought, but you still have to go through all the other dating characteristics. But the majority of the time, the men that want us because it's a sexual thing. It has little to do with them being very proud of our journey. And getting a vagina doesn't change that. No offense to people who have done that or have a goal to do that. People that date us, regardless of if you have a vagina or not, still see you as a trans person. It's the way it is. And so at some point they have to face it, and a lot of people don't want to face certain challenges when they're dating someone. So when I was a lot younger, let me finish roasting that with the other guy. What ended up happening with him was I told him, I was like, I thought you would have seen that I've always been the side girl because from perspective, but it takes someone who's an empath to be able to see things from other people's perspective, have empathy with someone's life and their views and their, you know. But a lot of people don't see that. They just see face forward value. Like, he just wanted to date me, and he told me he's been wanting to date me for 10 years, and he's had a thing for me. But he never really thought it through. So if I was dating a trans man, I would really think it through. I would really try to look at it from their perspective, at least what they've gone through. Not that I could ever understand what they've gone through, but at least try and do my full research on how the relationships work, how trans men react to other dating things, and how the gay community is now with trans men. So you do your research when you try and date someone. You don't just go after them, you know, because you think they're fucking hot. People do that, but that's for 20-year-olds. Those are for kids. Kids go after people sexually. And so a lot of people that don't get their kicks in their 20s end up later in life trying to get their kicks with younger people. So anyway, as far as it goes with me and polyamory, when I was 23, I've never opened up about this to anyone, but there was a point in my life, and this is going to be quite sensitive for me to discuss, but I think it's time that I start discussing it, because a lot of girls do this work. When I was 23, I got fired from my job for transitioning. They gave me hell about it, and I had to go. This is when I was living in Los Angeles, and at that time, I went to 10, 15 job interviews in a matter of 3 weeks, and I had clients because I was doing hair, and no one would hire me because I was trans, and I was beginning to transition. It was actually around the time of my very first videos. And of course at that time I was also seeking approval from men that I was dating. And I was actually dating a man that, I wouldn't call it dating, but we were sleeping together every single night for about 7 months. And he was a pro skater, and he was obviously very into me, but I was looking for approval as a woman from him. sexually, and I thought since we spent every night together for 7 months that we had something intimate. When I told him that I'd lost my job and I was gonna probably get kicked out of my apartment if I didn't do something about it, and I asked him for help, he wasn't interested. But he was interested in sleeping with me every single night for 7 months. And it gave me a band-aid, a sort of comfort in the fact that someone accepted me as a woman. And he didn't care about a job that I had to do. And a lot of girls do this as trans women, and I had to go into the sex industry. And I did. I went into it a very long time ago, and it was the darkest time of my life. Now, a lot of trans women enjoy it, and I believe that the sex industry should be completely legal, and I'm all about all of that. And everyone deserves every right, and it should be monitored. I believe it should be taxed. I'm all about that sort of thing. But for me, at the time, it was one of the most traumatic things because someone is sexually attracted to you doesn't mean they see you as what you are. So none of the people I had to, go with, we'll say that, saw me as a woman. They just wanted to sleep with me because I was something that they'd seen in porn. That's literally the limit of what the relationship was. But no one wants to have stale sex or stale connections with other people. So what they do is they play it up as though they care about you. And that is something it took me a long time to learn. What was authentic and what is fake. So I never told anybody this of my past. I blocked it out for a long time. I didn't want to deal with it. And this is a lot for me to tell people, and it was the darkest time of my life. And having that man that I was dating at the same time not accept me, and then other people use me, which is what it was. And there's a lot of people who think, well, the sex industry is a valid work. Sure, but the people that you are entertaining and the people that are using you don't see you, especially if you're trans, they don't see you as a woman. They don't see you that way. They see you as a freak. No offense to anybody out there who sees trans women as just sex, but it's true. And so I thought this guy would have noticed that. I thought he would have been his perception would have been deep enough to notice that. And obviously he didn't. And so I was quite disappointed. Anyway, so, enough of that. That's some serious talk right there that I've never admitted to the world, and finally, lately, in recent times, I've started to admit it. And I think it's healthy for me to get it out there. I'm not ashamed, but it was a horrible time period of being used by other people. And you know what? Money doesn't do it. I'm sorry, I don't care how much money you get paid, it doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it easier. Anyway. And I know a lot of girls do it, so no offense, almost all of them. It's very common in the trans community to sleep with people for money, or webcam porn, or something like that. It's literally 90%, I would say. I don't know why, for me, it scarred me traumatically. And, but yeah, anyway, I guess as I'm older, I'm starting to admit it. So I don't want this video to be too long, but, so after that situation with the guy that I was telling you all about, I told myself, I was like, okay, I'm gonna date women from now on. Just for now. What is this damn bunny doing? Anyway, so I want to date women, and so I started going on dating sites, and I actually met someone new, and she is beautiful, and her name's Annalise, which is a great name, and she's 28, which is better than my recent ones, and she has a little boy. She has an 8-year-old son, and we're gonna see how this goes, and she's agreed to go out to dinner with me, and we've been chatting every day, and we're gonna see how that goes down. She's beautiful. She's very short. She's like 5'3", and of course I'm 5'9", 5'10", and so it's quite intimidating. But I like her, and we're gonna see how that goes. It's nothing serious. It may not even go anywhere. And there's a couple other girls that I'm chatting with right now as well, just texting and just seeing, opening the doors. But I really felt like I wanted to date women because, honestly, about a year ago, that's when I started thinking about it, was dating women. And of course, I dated my ex-girlfriend, and I really believed that that was something beautiful, but it was actually kind of an act. I think she was just manipulating me and lying to me. So I was very damaged after my ex-girlfriend. But what I've noticed is that I want to date women. It's like something that I've been wanting, and I thought my ex-girlfriend would fulfill that need, and she didn't. Because I think she's in the beginning of her transition, and I think she's also seeking approval, and I'm thinking she's looking at it in all the wrong ways. And but you know what? We all learn our lessons in our own way, and I learned mine a long time ago, and she was far too young for me. She wasn't mature enough. She hasn't felt true pain. And so you can't expect someone who hasn't felt real pain and heartache to not do heartache and pain to other people. So anyway, but yeah, so now I'm dating women, and the thing is, I would date trans women as well. I really don't mind. I see trans women as women, and I saw like my ex-girlfriend as 100% female. The only thing is now, this girl that I'm talking to, you know, and it's not like I have anything planned, but I've never been with, you know, I was dating a trans girl, and she was my first girlfriend, and she had just begun transition, and she's never had any surgery. And this girl is, you know, she's not trans. And so this will be a first for me, I think, as far as vagina goes. And I'm not afraid. I'm actually quite curious, and you know, and when I date women, I'm more of the dominant in the relationship. I know a lot of people think that's odd because they think I'm so, you know, I'm a stylist and I guess I'm feminine, but I actually prefer to be, you know, more dominant. I don't know. So I'm researching, and I have a lot of lesbian friends here in Memphis now. I've built up quite a crew of them, and I do a lot of their hair, and they just think it's hilarious. You know, I'm 34, and I'm rediscovering this like it's high school over again. So, I don't know. I'm quite excited. So, yeah, and my friend and I are actually planning a huge trip, and it is going to be amazing. It is going to be to Thailand next year, and I am going to go for 3 weeks, and I've already started saving money and putting it aside, and so I'm going to take 3 weeks off work. It's going to be carry-on luggage only, and we're going to go backpack for 3 weeks in Thailand. I'm going to do all the things I've ever wanted to do when I was younger that I never could afford, or, you know, and so yeah, and my job is fantastic, so I'll be able to do it. And I can't tell you all how excited I am about doing that. It's, I've always wanted to go to Thailand, and it's my favorite food. And I know most trans girls go to Thailand for other reasons, but again, I've zero interest in ever getting any surgery done. So I'm just going there for the mountains and the ocean and the beaches and the food and the culture and the people. It's gonna be awesome. So yeah, there's that. Well, what else is there? My rabbit is driving me insane. He's driving crazy. I mean, he is really cute. I would take him out the cage and hold him for real, but he can go a little wild, and he wants to escape and roam around the house and chew on power cords. Anyway, so my life has never been better, and you know, I thought it was time that I opened up about some things in my past and how it affected me. And oh yeah, and I've also been working on my tattoo. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you can see my posts on it. I can maybe show you guys. I've been working on my alien tattoo, which is a lot of work. It's been 2 sessions now. I mean, it's huge. Now you can't see it. You're not going to be able to see it. You can get it going. There you go. I hope you can see it. I hope you can. Maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, you can see it. Anyway, it's pretty huge, and I've got about 3 more sessions, and each one of those sessions is about 4 to 5 hours, so we'll just put it this way, it ain't cheap. So it's half my back is covered with the alien tattoo, and we're gonna continue on. I've got a year's worth of sessions with my tattoo artist, and yeah. Anyway, I hope everybody's wonderful. I'm glad I got the camera set up so it doesn't have to be on my phone anymore. And I hope everyone's safe. Thank you so much for listening, and I will chat with you guys in maybe a couple of weeks. I'm gonna try and keep up with this now. All right, thank you, bye.